What's up, everybody? Gerard here, as always, with your 3T Podcast official YouTube channel. This is our quick take reviews for this week. But before we jump into the review portion of this episode, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the new Wildcard rule. Vince McMahon instituted this new rule saying 3 or 4 superstars from each brand can show up on either show. So you might have 3 SmackDown guys on Raw one week, 3 Raw guys on SmackDown that week. Who knows? I think they don't really know totally because you had more than 3 or 4 guys from SmackDown on Raw this Monday. I think this is very much a band-aid fix for their issues creatively and with the ratings. This reminds me of what they did earlier this year where you had all the McMahons lined up saying how bad their product is right now and we promise to make a change and yes, you the viewer are the authority, and then proceeded to have heel McMahons back within a 2 to 3 week span of the show. So I'm very pessimistic about it, as you can tell. It's very much wait and see and prove to me that it's going to work. I think this is a short-term fix. Long-term, I think if you put out a better product creatively, the ratings are going to go up. Both rosters don't need to have other people on the shows, but I get why they're doing it right now. Now let's jump into the review portion of this episode. We're going to start with Raw, the good, the bad, and the ugly of this week's Monday Night Raw. The ugly, the lack of the women's division on the show. It's a 3-hour show, and you had about a backstage segment, a squash match, and then a post-match, which was very fast post-match segment with Becky Lynch and Lacey Evans. It's a great storyline and a great feud. Keep building it up. Don't just waste 3 little segments. You could have took the Lucha House Party squash match out of it and given the women more time. I hope that's not a trend going forward. I don't think it will be. I think this was more of a just this week issue. The bad, Hawkins and Ryder, once again, looking like complete fools and jobbers on the show. You don't give your tag team champions an entrance. How does that make them look more than what they were before they were champions? The War Raiders should already have belts off them. They've already beaten them twice. Let's hope they take the belts off them and the tag team division on Raw can go forward. The promos and segments were very entertaining, reminding me of old days when the shows were built through segments and promos. You got to make me want to watch the pay-per-view, right? So if you do that, your show's better in long term. You had a lot of good matches on this episode also. Roman and Drew McIntyre had a better match than they had WrestleMania. Maybe it was because I wasn't watching it 7 hours straight of wrestling before that match happened. Then you had the main event, Daniel Bryan returning from his concussion against Kofi Kingston for the WWE title. One nitpick here, they said that was his first WWE title match in 3 years on Raw. Didn't Kofi and Seth just wrestle 3 weeks ago for both titles on the line? Like I said, the wild card could only do so much if creatively they don't remember what they're doing week by week. But the match itself was amazing. Kofi retained. I would go back and check it out if I was you guys. It wasn't as good as their WrestleMania encounter or the stuff they did on SmackDown, but still very, very good. Now, we're going to segue into our SmackDown quick take. The good, the bad, and the ugly of SmackDown this week. Ugly, no mention of the Iconics, no appearance of the Iconics. It's now a reoccurring trend on these SmackDown quick take reviews where the Iconics, either in the bad or the ugly portion of SmackDown Live. They're your women's tag team champions. They went from having Sasha and Bayley being the focal points on Raw as the women's tag team division champions, and now they're not. The tag team champions aren't even on the show. I don't get it, and I don't know if I could get it because I'm sure they don't get it. Now the bad, you had the women's Money in the Bank participants in a quick rush match. A lot of them are unproven names or names that aren't really valued much in the company recently. Give them a little more time and let them show the fans while they're in this match. The good, yes, SmackDown had a lot of good matches this week. You had the Usos versus Roman and Bryan for the tag team titles that were vacated by the Hardy Boys. Awesome match. Go back and watch this one for sure. A lot of false finishes with the Uso splash on Rowan. That's the first thing that pops up into mind about this match. I thought it was over at that point, but Rowan kicked out. They made Rowan look like $1 million, which he hasn't always in the past. And Bryan and Rowan become the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. For a tag team division that's very, very weak now, with the shakeup, I think this is great. because now you put a heavyweight title contender and a credible big man together as your tag team champions. It's only going to do them good with fighting against Heavy Machinery and other tag teams building that division. We had another WWE title match. Yes, 2 nights in a row we had WWE title matches. This time he defended against 2 Raw superstars, Sami Zayn and the phenomenal AJ Styles. Awesome match. Look at the 3 people in this match. You know it's going to be awesome, guaranteed. Go back and check this one out. Also, the ending sequence is very interesting with Kevin Owens attacking Xavier Woods and trying to help Sami Zayn become WWE champion. But he didn't. Kofi Kingston overcame those odds and retained his title. And then he said that there's going to be hell to pay to Kevin Owens. I'm hoping they get a little more intense with the storyline. But Kofi's done very well with the champion. He's put out 2 credible defenses already. I'm expecting him and Owens to be a third. Who knows? They might have him defend on Raw or SmackDown again next week. Who knows? He might just fight the entire roster before Money in the Bank. Now for the ratings portions of our episodes. Raw, I'm going to give it a 7. I know I'm going to catch flack for giving it a 7 out of 10. It was very enjoyable for me. I'm not a stickler for what a lot of people were talking about, the show's negatives. I like promos and segments. I don't need to watch 10 matches on a television show. I'm supposed to want to watch those 10 matches on pay-per-view. That's the job. Right? So if you're doing that for me, you did a good job. SmackDown, 7.5 out of 10. Very awesome episode of SmackDown. The bad and the ugly of both shows kind of didn't even have a chance to outweigh the good because the good on both shows was so good. You give me great title defenses and you give me great segments or promos, I'm going to give these ratings every week. We'll see if this is something that could continue or if this is an anomaly of the show's product. Now, that's all for this quick take review, right? So I'm going to provide all my links to our social medias below. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Our podcast is on Apple iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and TuneIn. And speaking of tune in next time for more. I am Gerard, and that's all. See you.